Hello, in this video we're going to look at just a generalized skill. I noticed when we went through your end of the year general skills test, this was something that some students were just not 100% on, and it's such an important concept. It's one of those little ideas that has significant impacts in the programming world. And it kind of highlights this concept of what a reference variable is. So I'm going to make just a little kind of silly function here that's simply going to scale all elements of a list by a. So it's going to take two parameters. It's going to take a list of ints, and it's going to take some scale factor a. So essentially what this means is that if I have a list that says something like, let's say my list is equal to, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, and a is equal to 10, list is going to become 10, 20, 30. So essentially all we have to do is loop through the list and multiply each element by a. So let's do that. For I in range, 0, len list, 1, and all I'm going to do is say list at I is equal to list at I times 10. Now, it says I have an error. Why does it say I have an error? Oh, I forgot a bracket. There you are. Okay. Now, here's the thing, and this is why I made this video. So if I make a list variable down here, and I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, let's do that exact example. And then I call scale, and I print list. So we print it to the screen, and then I say scale list, and then I'm going to pass it the number 10, and then I print list. Here's a really nice question for you. And the question is this: what is list going to be printed out as after I run this function? If you said 10, 20, 30, you're right. And let's make sure we understand why. A list is a reference variable. So let me pause. I'm going to draw a little picture here. So let me pause this and get a little somewhere I can draw. Okay, so let's say I do something like x equals 4. What that does is it essentially makes a box in the computer, it calls it x, and it puts a 4 inside of it. Whereas if I say L equals, and I'm going to make a list, my screen has a little problem in the center here, so let's come over here, L equals 1, 2, 3. Okay? What that does is it makes the box in memory, but it doesn't put 1, 2, 3 inside the box, because with a list, we don't know how big it's actually going to be. What it does is it makes a memory reference to where the list is, and it puts the 1, 2, 3. That should be 1, 2, 3. This is pretty messy. I know I'm kind of on the fly here. So here's the difference. When I pass x into a function, I make a duplicate of what's inside this box, and that is the 4. And therefore, there are two 4s that exist. So I basically make a copy of this, put it in there. But if I pass a list into a function, I'm not passing the actual values of the list. I'm passing the references to where they exist. And because of that, so if I have some function that takes a list, what it does is it makes a new box, and my parameter is called list, and what it does is it actually goes and points here. And actually, let's just do this. So if I come back to my code here, let's make an x, and we're going to set it equal to 4, and then I'm going to pass this. I'm going to pass x into there, and this is a perfect example. And let's call this L. So now this is identical to our picture here. Maybe we can see both at the same time. So let's make sure we understand what happens here. This L gets passed into this list variable. And so what happens now is I get a reference to where L exists, versus the x, I pass a copy of the number 4 into the variable a. So basically, let's just go back to here. So I have this variable x, I pass it into a, so it's going to make a box, it's going to call it a, and make a copy of the 4. So any changes to a has no impact on x. But when I pass L into the function, I'm passing the reference to where it is. And that's why, when I run this, any changes that are made to a list or any reference variable, again, the only reference variables we know right now are lists, remain when the function is done. And that is a super important idea. It's a little thing right now, but when you get into the grade 12 computer science course and you start dealing with objects and classes and all these types of things, this reference variable concept is really powerful. And just to make sure we're right, oh, my function is wrong. That should be times A. How many of you are watching this video waiting for me to change it? There we go. I hope this video helped. Have a wonderful day. Take care.